After my recent video and the general discussion that's going around in the community at the moment about developing movement in Tekken for newer players, I've seen a lot of people express worries along the lines of, do you really want movement to be made easier when Tekken 7 has already introduced so many changes that have already dumbed the system down so much? And do you really want hardcore players to lose the one advantage we have left? And my answer is yes, but not in the way that you'd think. The changes they made to the system in Tekken 7 that everyone complains about, things like throws being easier to break, power crush, rage drive, rage art, Oki being simplified because of flip over stun, combos with crazy range and damage, and characters with moves that have insane range and evasiveness and tracking properties. These are changes that were made to make the game more attractive to new people, to get more sales. The game looks cooler, so kids want to get it for Christmas. The changes are supposed to make the game look easier to win, so that more people want to get into it, because Tekken has always had a bit of a reputation for being a difficult game. However, for the people who are already into Tekken, pretty much most of us hate at least some of these changes. That's because the changes weren't made for Tekken fans, or maybe they were and that's too cynical an outlook. Maybe the devs did genuinely just want to deliver something they thought was cool and interesting to their fans, but either way, the effect was that people thought they were cool for all of about 15 minutes, and now on Twitter and YouTube all people do is complain about them. Now, this late into the game's life it doesn't really matter, but the changes designed to make the game more attractive to new players have actually started to have the adverse effect, I think, is because they were generally so poorly received by people serious about the game. All a prospective Tekken buyer will see when researching this new game that they want to get into is constant complaining at the devs on Twitter and clips of broken things and YouTube videos of people who are really into the game explaining why it sucks so much and how it has disappointed them. Content creators really do get lots of people into Tekken by introducing them to the game alongside their entertaining presentation. That's how I got into the game. But when so much airtime is used by people voicing general dissatisfaction and apathy towards the game, it seems to me that by making the hardcore community feel a bit ostracised by these new changes, they've actually made the general aura around the game less appealing. This is an unfortunate set of circumstances for the game to be in, both for the devs and for the community. You can tell that people's love for the game hasn't changed. The community is generally still passionate. Everyone's just a bit scared of what direction the game might go in next. They're scared of seeing it turn into something that they hate. Because of this feeling, when an update to the movement system was brought up, lots of people had the natural reaction of just going, "Oh God, please no more, I can't handle it, just don't mess the game up even more, please just leave it alone." But the thing is though, the people suggesting that movement be updated, and I would include myself in this now as well, don't necessarily want these other changes that have already been made to stay. Easier movement would make it easier, I think, for all of us to deal with these new things that we don't like. Just because everyone can use it now doesn't mean everyone knows how to apply it well. So you could still use it to beat lesser players. What we, or at least what I would like to see, is a movement system update in a system where all of this new nonsense is taken out. Instead of focusing on these changes for people who don't even like Tekken yet, that are just centered around stealing grounds and allowing a player to get around using movement and defense as much as possible, if they just got rid of those and buffed movement and made it easier to do instead, the game would retain its depth and identity and would be in no way dumbed down. It would just be a bit more accessible. It would be a Tekken game designed around what people who love Tekken for Tekken want, while having the accessibility necessary to draw new players in. Instead of adding more crutches to the game, it would just stop trying to break everyone's legs. Then, because we have a Tekken man's Tekken game, the community would be happy and would be going back to making nice content around the game. People on Twitter would bitch about things slightly less, or at least not about things that are inherent flaws in the game's system design. And so, people looking to get into the game would be greeted with peace and goodwill when they stick Tekken into YouTube or Google, and will want to get in on the action, and then, because the game is now nice and accessible, they actually can without having to slog through practice just to learn how to move in this 3D game, and will instantly be getting into the game for the right reasons, for what actually makes Tekken Tekken. And also, the more I think about it, I mean, sidestep has no execution, why should backdash really? And as I say, if the game gave people a level playing field that would be easier to reach for all players, the game would be about two players having to rely on their superior application of movement and of Tekken fundamentals, not whether or not one player can do it at all. Which would be a good thing, I think, especially if we want the game to be more accessible and less gatekeepy, in a way that is safe and doesn't compromise the quality of the game we all love. And I just want to say, this video isn't meant as a slight at the devs. I'm really glad that they're trying to innovate. I just wish they would do so in different directions and for different reasons. I also don't mean this as a call to arms or to disrespect anyone's opinions on how the game should be balanced. These are just some hopelessly romanticised and naive thoughts I had about the future of Tekken, and about how we could come to a resolution for this incredibly divisive topic. Much love to everyone who watched my previous videos and interacted on Twitter and in the comments. You guys have really made me think and have really opened my eyes on a lot of things, and honestly, your support means the world to me. Also, of course, a huge thank you to Aria from That Blasted Salami for drawing attention to my video. That was really kind of you, man. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. And seriously guys, like, the more I think about it, the more I feel like Ari is right and I'm just being a boomer because I don't want things to change. Anyway, I hope I've managed to get across that we all love the game and we all want what's best for it, even if we disagree sometimes. Thank you for watching this video, and as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to, you can say hi to me on Twitter. Remember to play your hardest, but keep it friendly, and have a lovely day.